welcome you to our special presentation, and we really appreciate you. Many of you have stood for many, many years with us, not just financially but in prayer. Over the last number of years, we've seen great results from many years of work, and this ministry now is extending to more than 32 nations around the world. We're supporting and resourcing in excess of 5,000 pastors, but the results that we are now seeing are quite spectacular and very rewarding. Probably the greatest cost associated, particularly personally, is the fact that we are away so often.
As we know, we have been called together to work. Although I don't go very often, and there has been a cost and a sacrifice in that area, we know that God's work is going ahead, and that Merv is called to reach these people and talk to them, and God is with him, and therefore he's with me and with us in what we're doing for the Lord.
As our passion becomes more urgent, there's also a need to produce the finances, and part of our program here in Darwin is generating finance. Our overall operation is quite unique, and we not only have a church in Darwin, but we have many varieties of businesses. We are generating large quantities of finance in order to be able to see pastors and leaders and church workers in many nations around the world resourced. The more we want to do, the more we see the need is pressing, and particularly with the end time coming closer, the needs are great. And so this means that we must also be putting a lot of time into concepts and ideas that will generate further finances. We are so grateful to God for His goodness, His blessings that have really stood with us for many years, and throughout our organisation here and the different businesses we operate, on which you'll see some of these programs on the video to follow, some of our finance generation programs. God has been so good to us. We've been blessed far beyond what most people would ever be able to consider, and we're so grateful to Him for that. Over the last number of years, I've come to a position where I've realised that the offering bag, thinking from a church perspective, the offering bag is not sufficient to be able to do much more than what the local church can do. Therefore, we've been able to look at a concept, and we've written some material which you may like to access on beyond the offering bag and the business of the church. In reality, the business of the church is to create disciples who are followers of Jesus Christ. And whilst the church has done many things over many years, we are looking to increase our endeavours and church endeavours right around the nations so that people can do more. Whilst our thinking is limited just purely to the offering bag, we are limited usually within the framework of the four walls of the church. But now it's time for us to get out from behind the four walls of the church and begin to push into places where people don't have opportunity. And this can only be done with money. Airfares, seminars, resourcing people in the forms of small businesses, business training, and many concepts that we are involved with right around the world today cost an enormous amount of money. And God has been so gracious to us in increasing our resource capacity to be able to generate finances far beyond what we could expect. But in saying that, we are always looking further to extend more business ideas, business concepts, ways through which we can continue to increase our asset worth so that we are able to have the ready resources to be able to do the things that we want to do. One of the things we are rejoicing in at this stage, we are seeing in third world and developing nations whole congregations of people who are becoming economically and spiritually transformed. It is really something quite amazing that I have never personally seen before. From time to time you would see it on a one-off basis, but rarely will you ever see a group of people that take hold of principles and truth by faith and begin to see the whole lifestyles, their businesses, their church going, their church giving increase in such a way that in those nations finance is now being generated to the degree that we can see major expansion levels. We are also seeing businesses established in third world nations, and some of these include the poorest of the poor, that God is blessing abundantly. For this we give great joy, and I trust that through the program on the DVD you'll be able to see some of this and capture some of it so that your hearts will be inspired and stand with us regularly in prayer. We appreciate you, we honour you, and we thank you once again.